So thanks for joining us today. My name is Vincent de Chandon, and I'm part of the product management team here at Galigeo. Today, I will be guiding you through this webinar to help you understand how maps and the whole concept of location data can help you to answer your strategic questions. So to begin with, a quick introduction about what are maps. So of course, I guess all of you know what a map is, but something we do not realize that we are using maps on our daily basis to make our life easier. And I want to show you some quick examples. Uber. I guess all of you used this application at least once. And so the main concept of the application is based on geolocation data and maps. When you open the application to book your driver, you are geolocated, and that it shows you the drivers that are around you on the map. And then after you booked the driver, it shows you the progression on the roads in real time. And so, of course, there is a service behind that. But the application, I think, is a big part of the success of Uber, and it's mainly based on maps. Weather forecast, of course. When you watch the weather forecast, and you are told that there is a heat wave, this is always displayed on the map because it's the best way to understand what is happening. And the last one, Pokemon Go. I know I'm a little bit out of hype right there. I'm sorry. But I guess most of you already played it at least once. And so it's the same. So the game takes place on a virtual map that is just the representation of the world, but in the application. And same, the game is based only on location data, knowing where you are and where you have to go to catch Pokemons. So we are used to work with map, and we are used to leverage them in our daily life. But when we reach our offices, the softwares and the application we are using, they lack mapping and spatial capabilities. While some questions ultimately can only be answered using maps. Example of questions, and you see there the common factor of all these questions is that they all begin by where. Where should I open my new store? If I am a retailer, I can't just say, oh, this place looks nice, let's open the store right there. You have to care about where are located your competitors. What are the age, the average age of the people living nearby your store, etc. Where do my most loyal customers live? If you want, for example, to launch a marketing campaign and be sure that you are going to target the right persons. Where are the target areas where the field force should patrol? Exactly the same. They just can't go in a car and drive across the cities randomly. For example, there are some streets that will be more important than the other, and they have to pass 3 times by night into a specific street, etc. And you can only answer this question if you are aware of this where factor. And still, where the incident affecting my network, etc. For the person that would be, I would say, more managing railroads, railways, etc., etc. And you could carry on with a lot of these questions for all the industries. And what we have been able to see there at Galigeo for the past years is that most of the time there are persons that have to answer to these questions, but they do not have the right capabilities and the right tools to do that. So what they do is that they make intuition-based decisions. And I'm not saying that intuition is bad, but you cannot make all your decisions just based on intuition. And you need to have data to back all the decisions and the actions you are going to take. So Spatial, the missing component and why it is missing. There are several reasons for that. The first is that most of the time people think that it's meant for experts, and they see everything related to spatial or to geomapping as something too complex for them, because this is composed of mainly notions that they do not know much about, which of course is false. It's not the truth, but this is what is in their mind. The second one is what we call geographic information silo. I guess all of you in your companies already have a lot of location data within your databases, but most of the time they do not have access to that because this is some departments, specialized departments like GIS departments that are going to work with this information, with this data, but it's not going to go outside of their scope. And so all the other departments, business departments, etc., they will not have access to the result of all this work. And another one, drawn under too many applications. We have talked about a lot of managers. We were really thinking about introducing some location, I would say, location-driven tools, etc. But they were saying, okay, my users, they already have plenty of tools that they have to go through every day. They have to switch, etc. And I do not want to introduce a new tool for them. So sometimes it's a showstopper for that. But hopefully nowadays there are solutions that exist to tackle all of these issues. So behind maps, there is a concept which is called location intelligence, and it's the possibility to get insights from your location data and from the different layers of information you are able to overlay on the maps. And the good news is that to leverage location intelligence, you need location data, and they are mainstream. Perhaps you never heard about that, but more than 80% of the data contained in your databases, they have a location component, meaning that they can be displayed on the map. And today, with the rise of IoT, of the usage of smartphones, or even all the open data portals all over the world, that basically gives you freely a lot of geolocated data. All of that makes it even easier to access location data. And all of that is like an unexploited goldmine. And hopefully it's time to make an advantage out of it for some reasons. The first one is that the time to insight is faster because maps, as we were saying at the beginning, is the easiest way to analyze something, because it's instinctively understood. Sorry, by the person that are going to look at it, and it will also help you to unveil proximity relationships, data trends, etc., that are only discoverable if you use them on the maps. Quick example. For example, if you are a retailer and you have two different stores and you want to know if they are cannibalizing each other's, the only way to do that is to display them on the map and their attraction zone on the maps. And you cannot just do that with a standard charts or with a table. It also improved the user experience because the person they really like to use maps. They feel confident when they know how to use them, and it favorizes the adoption of the tools they are using, and also help them to communicate more with the different user communities and in a better way. And faster return on investment, of course, because the time to actions will be faster as well. The decisions you are going to make and the strategic question you will be able to answer, it will be easier for you to do that using location intelligence. So at Galigeo, we believe that empowering any users, and when I say any users, it's no matter if they are experienced or not already with geomapping. It can be business analysts, business users, data analysts, etc. if you give them access to location intelligence in a self-service fashion, it will help them to make their business grow faster and healthier. So this is why we have developed location intelligence solutions that are geared for every business. And we are different from the other vendors because most of the users that are going to use our solution, we know that they are not experienced with geomapping. And sometimes this is the first time they are going to build it. So all the complexity that is inherent to the spatial side, we have abstracted it, and so the user can just focus on their data and their business. Self-service, anyone can come, can create maps, can consume maps, can create spatial analysis. It does not need to be an expert, and he can do that all of that on its own using the different tools that we bring at his fingertips. It's feature rich. So of course, all the features are not there because there are too many, but you can access a lot of different features to help you answering your use cases. So you can geocode addresses, you can create spatial temporal analysis, you can generate attraction areas using ISO distance. So ISO distance is like crow fly, using drive time, etc. You have access to all the standard, I would say, visualization capabilities, like Coropless, heat map, clustering, pie chart, etc. And all of that is brought out of the box using the solutions. It's also data agnostic, which is really important. And it's one of our main strengths is that you can blend any type of data in the product. You can use your operational data within your data warehouses. You can blend that with your some exogenous data. For example, we talked about open data portals. You can bring that in the product as well to bring more context to your analysis. And of course, bringing geographic data sources all together on the same place, which lets you uncover new trends in your data and go deeper into your analysis. And this is also allowed because we are data agnostic. So before jumping into a live demonstration of the product, I just want to just quickly introduce you to some use case some of our customers have, which can be interesting for you to know more about. So unfortunately, there is a lot of persons during this webinar from different industries, and I can't cover all use cases from all industries, but I think it will help you to draw parallels with your own use cases, etc. So the first one is with the French police. So they are leveraging location intelligence with Galigeo in order mainly to analyze crimes and to predict the risk areas to ultimately optimize the deployment of their field forces. And so to do that, they have created spatial temporal series from 10 years of geolocated crime data that they have plotted on the map, and it helped them to uncover some patterns, some trends regarding the different months of the years, etc. And so they've been able after that to correlate these risk areas with contextual data like poverty rate, average revenue by district, etc. And after that, and this is the most, I would say, interesting part, they've been able to run some spatial features, spatial algorithm combined to predictive modeling to identify the risk areas to focus on. And all of that is to optimize their field forces and their deployment to make sure that the person on the field are going into the right place at the right time and start to be proactive and not reactive. So it also helped to go into better crime preventions. And in some regions, we have seen some decrease regarding some crime types like car theft, which was really interesting as well. So the next use case is with Stanford Children's Health. So it's a big healthcare system in the San Francisco area Bay, and they are using the location intelligence solution in order to improve their territory coverage and to make sure that their patients have the best access to care. So the same, they have created spatial temporal series based on location, their patient locations, and they're segmented by gender, by age, by illness. and then they correlate that with the different physician offices with whom they have partnerships, and it has helped them to spot if they have uncovered areas, meaning areas where there are patients but no physician for the different segmentation they have done, and also the areas which were at risk, for example, where their partnerships were threatened by competitors. So it has helped them to drive more efficient physician partnerships, and also to go faster into their I would say, legal reporting with their board or their ministries, like the health government department, etc. Last one before jumping into the demonstration is from INFRABEL, which is the owner of the Belgian railroad network, one of the busiest in Europe. And they use Galigeo Location Intelligence solution to prioritize efficiently their maintenance operations. So they have completely mapped their assets and incidents to have a good overview about what is happening every day. And then they run some special algorithm that are provided by Galigeo to identify the different assets that were at risk, to perform some preventive maintenance in order not to affect too much the networks and to avoid downtimes. And the last thing, which is also really interesting, they have grouped together, especially speaking, the incidents and their planned operations to see if they were able to spot hot areas where they could group at the same time the incident and the planned operations in order to reduce the technicians' time on the roads and also downtimes. And so all of that helped them to reduce the average downtime on the network by 8%, which is really good. So 8% on something like 3 years. And it's really good when you know the number of trains that goes on these lines every day. And they have also reduced the operational time, including the time the technician were spending driving, by 22%, because they've been able to mutualize together, fixing the incident and also doing their planned operations on a zone nearby, and avoiding going from up the city down to the south, etc., etc. So right now we are going to jump into a product demonstration. So the case study, I think it's quite fun because I like biking. Perhaps it's your case too. And there it's about analyzing the different bike incidents into the city of Montreal. So I'm going to jump right now into the product. Okay, classical session expired. So just for information, I'm going to show the demonstration right now of the Galigeo product embedded within SAP Web Intelligence, which I think you know about, even if you never used it. But the main thing there to remember is that everything you are going to see on the maps, it would be the same if you were using the standalone version of Galigeo or the version which is embedded into IBM Cognos or the other applications. And this is what really matters right there. And after the demonstration, we are going to see into more details the different options you have to roll out location intelligence to your company. So right there, what we see is a map of Montreal with different icons. And this icon all represents the incidents that have happened on the bike passes. And you see different icons. If I open the legend, which are different types of incident. And so you can customize your maps to make it look the way you want quite easily. So everything is self-service. And basically what you have to do is just define which data you want to use. And then in 2 clicks, you can create your layer of information and start customizing it with your own icons, your own colors, doing conditional formatting, etc. And you can create as many layers of information you want. There you have access to all the Galigeo features. And for example, the first one represents the layer of information. So we are seeing the accident there, but you could also display the bike pass, and I can just toggle there the visibility. And it's going to show me the different bike paths with the KPI, a KPI applied, which is in green if there have been an incident, and in red, in green if there have been no incident, and in red if there was an incident on the lines during the year. And so if I zoom in a bit, you can see there that you can access the incident up to the street levels by zooming in right there. And when clicking on an incident, you have access to all the details, and this detail comes from your data. And so meaning that there, if you are plugged to your operational data, if something changed on the database side, it's going to change on the map as well. And it's really important to mention that. So then if I zoom out a bit, what I can think about is that I see that there are areas where there seems to be more incident than the other, but how can I be sure? Because some incidents are overlapping each other. And what you could do, for example, is there select the incident layer of information and select the heat map. And so there you have more macro view about where are the core areas, where are the hot areas where there have been the most incidents. And so you can really know exactly where are these areas, and you can, for example, select them or extract them to focus more on these areas and trying to understand why there have been more incidents. I don't know, there is more bypass, there is more crossroads with crossing with roads. And there we are talking about incident, but it could be, for example, where are the areas where I've made the more money from my customers? Where are the areas where the quality of my network was bad, etc. You can really draw parallels with other use cases using this kind of features. And there, heat map, of course, is a way to display it, but you could also choose to display that as clusters. And there it will tell you, it will, I would say, aggregate the points into smaller areas to exactly know how much incident there have been on specific parts. And there, for example, you see almost 100, and you can click on that, and it's zoom in, etc., up to the street levels. And you see that these features are accessible into just with one click, and you do not have to configure something, etc. Everything is brought to you out of the box, so you can really focus on analyzing the data and try to find the different insights within them. Just going to remove the clustering right there and go back to my initial view. You have the bike pass, but you could also choose to display, for example, the district and to see the number of incidents that there have been by district if you want to have a more macro view. So as I was mentioning, you can really overlay what you want on the map, the different layers of information, or instead of there the number of incidents, what you could do, sorry, zoom out too much, is also, for example, to display something from an open data portal. And there, what I have is the population density. So the year is a bit not really up to date, but for the demonstration, it will be fine. And there, so I've configured of course, the configuration. I've configured, sorry, the connection to the open data portal. And there I can just retrieve it, and it's going to show me the population density by district, etc. So I can exactly correlate something that belongs to me, meaning my incident that I have with my operational data, with some external data that I do not master, but I can access that on the map. And you realize that having such views, for example, being able to try to find correlation between bike incidents and population density is something that can only be done using a maps, because I would say the only bound is their spatial relationship. And so when you have done that, what you can do is switch, for example, to the selection tools. And what the selection tool is going to do for you is going to be to let you extract and run some special algorithm directly on the map to extract data from your layer of information. I could select the accident and, for example, choose the ISO distance, which I was mentioning earlier, and say, okay, based on a 3 miles radius from a given point, where are the incident located? And I can just click. I'm just going to zoom in. You can just click somewhere on the map, and it draws you a cycle, which is a 3 miles radius, and then it extracts you all the incidents that were within this radius. And with that, what you could do is that you can filter that to only focus on these areas. Or you can, for example, filter another report, which goes deeper into the incident, but just this report will be filtered only with the selections you would have just made. Or you can export that to CSV, to open it back to Excel or another application, or to share that with a colleague, etc., etc. So it's really interesting in terms of capabilities because, as you can see, since the beginning, it's quite self-service and it's not much configuration. It's quite easy to use, even if you are not really experienced with geomapping. Same one is what we call drive time. It's quite the same it's the same concept that ISO distance, but there it's based, it also takes the roads into account. And for example, if you say, okay, if I drive 15 minutes from a given point, where are the areas that I can reach? And if I click somewhere, it's going to draw me, I don't know if you see that clearly, but there it's in cyan right there. And it's the area that you can reach if you drive 15 minutes in the city of Montreal. And the same, it has extracted me the incident, etc. And I can do the same that with ISO distance. I can combine the different type of analysis I can do, the different type of spatial features that I can run on the map. And I'm not going to show all of the different features, but you could also do buffering, etc., etc., regarding the different use cases. And there, for example, the drive time one is really good. If you open a store and you know that your customers are not going to drive more than 30 minutes to go visit it, then you can exactly know which catchment area you will be able to have if the store is located at this specific location. Okay, I'm going to close the selection right there. Sorry, and run into quickly the different other options. You can choose different base maps, of course, which is always nice regarding your use cases. So you have S3 ones. You also have the satellite one, some OpenStreetMaps, etc. And more advanced use case is that you can bring in your own base map. So it's a more advanced use cases. But if it's the case, you can also bring that into the product. Another one which is really cool is what we call motion design. So you just pick a dimension from your data sources, and the map will take care of animating that through time or through a category, etc. And there I have already designed one. And what it does is that it's just animating the map by the different types of incident that there is. And if I zoom out, so we can see the whole city. Okay, now let me just zoom in so the layout disappear. And I select that. You are going to see that it's going to show me type after type the different incident. So you could do that with a filtering, but there it's more live, so it's easier really to understand what is happening on the map. And there I'm showing category because I do not have temporal information in my data. But of course, the main use case right there is with temporal data. And if you want to see, sorry, how your business has evolved across time, this is definitively a nice feature to use. And there it's just a matter of picking two different dimensions from your data sets to run the animation, which is really nice. There are plenty of other tools, like how you can connect to that open data portal, or you can print the map into different formats. And I'm not going to go into that because we have not enough time. But if you are interested, we can, you can, I would say, ask some question at the end, or we can reach out. You can reach out to me after the webinar. The last one I want to show there is what we call the annotation. So most of the time, there are really good tools in analytics that lets you create your analysis, etc., get your insights. But when you share that with your community, it's not, I would say it's not, so sometimes they will struggle to get the same insight as you unless you write some text below the different charts, for example. And so there, we have directly implemented the possibility to annotate the map with your findings. And for example, let's say that, I don't know, I have spotted an areas and I'm not sure why, for example, there are a lot of incidents that were caused because the road is damaged, and I'm not really sure why it's supposed to be damaged, because I don't know. They have been worked 3 months ago to fix them. I can just, for example, draw a polygon across these areas and write some text like Tanya, can you take a look at that? Okay, and so it will stay on the map. And if I share the map with Tanya, she's going to see my message, and she's going to be able to really focus on the message I've left her. And so, of course, she can edit it and she can remove it afterwards, avoiding to have too much information on the map. But these kind of features, our customers really like it a lot. The question they may have is that who can create this annotation, who can edit them, who can remove them, etc. And the answer to that is that it's quite granular, like the whole applications. There, I'm connected as an administrator, so I see everything on the map, of course. But if I was an end user and was just able to consume the maps, I would not be able, for example, to create myself layer of information or to change base map. And you have the granularity to decide who can do what. And to do that, you can either plug to, for example, there we are in Web Intelligence, so we are plugged directly to the user system of Web Intelligence. But if you are using the standalone solutions, you can also plug Galigeo to your LDAP in order to retrieve the different users that you may already have, or you can define your own users directly within the product. And so you can say, okay, this person is an administrator, this person can do that, this person can do that, etc. And so you can really control the way the product is used, which is really important. And it's not only for annotation, it's basically for all the features across the application. Okay, so it will be it for me for the demonstration. I've tried to be, I would say, to give you a good overview about how the product is working and how easy it is to make it work and to create your layer of information on the map. Of course, you could go faster. You could go deeper into the product, find more features, explore more options. But the main thing to remember there is that we provide a good set of, I would say, business features that let you answer your use cases regarding the industry you are evolving in. Okay, guys, so I'm going to jump back into my presentations right now. And going to the next slides. And right now, what we are going to talk about after this demonstration is the different options you have to roll out a location intelligence company. Location intelligence solutions at your company. And the first one is when to use a standalone location intelligence solutions. So when you have to introduce, or where is the best way, what is the best way to introduce a brand new tool to your users? So there are 3 main reasons for that. Is when the organization are lacking strong reporting and analysis tools, or when they are migrating to new tools. So it can be the right moment to introduce some more spatial focused analysis tool, or when they have complex or really specific use cases. For example, territory management, like designing your territory sales, your sales territory. Because it implies write back to database, etc. And it can be easier to have a specific tool dedicated to that, because you know that there are not much users that are going to use it, rather than trying to embed that within a tool, etc., etc. It can be better to have your own tool to do that. And the last one is when you have GIS departments that want to get themselves equipped with self-service, new self-service tool, new self-service technology stack. It can be also the right option to pick some location intelligence solutions. And at Galigeo, we have a tool for that, which is basically called, simply called Galigeo Location Intelligence. And so it's a standalone tool. As you can see there on the screenshots, it's the same interface that what you have seen in the demonstration, but it's run on its own. So it comes with, I would say, the connection to the databases that you can define, etc., etc. And so you can create the same way your layer of information, perform spatial analysis, and you have a portal, a Galigeo portal, in order to share them with your user communities. The second one is when to embed location intelligence into existing software and application. And this is what you have seen during this demonstration of web intelligence, because the Galigeo product was embedded within SAP Web Intelligence. And it's mainly when organizations, they already have reporting and business softwares in place, and they do not want to introduce a new tool because their users are used to work with these tools, they are familiar with, and they do not want them to switch to another tool to perform, I would say, to answer their work questions. They would like them to stay within the same environment. And it's easier to manage the connection to databases, etc., etc. And so to do that, of course, we have a lot of connectors. And you have to see the connectors only like, I would say, a native integration of the Galigeo solutions within a specific product. And this is what we are the best known, of course, for many years right now. For example, we have connectors for SAP, meaning that you can leverage all the Galigeo features within the different SAP BI applications, like Web Intelligence, like we have seen, like SAP Lumira Designer, like SAP Lumira Discovery, etc., etc. We have the same for IBM Cognos. And one thing, I know not everyone is using that, but something I really want to say is that we support the latest version of IBM Cognos, which is the version 11. And it's important because previously to this version, there were a location intelligence component within Cognos, which was S3 maps for Cognos. And this plugin is not supported in the latest versions. And so a lot of companies are migrating to Cognos 11. And the one that has S3 maps, their users were used to work with, but right now they have nothing anymore, no location intelligence component anymore. And so Galigeo can help them make the transition in order for them to keep on having location intelligence capabilities within their IBM Cognos. And if you are interested by that, if this is your case, you can reach out to me after this call after this webinar, sorry, to discuss that. You also have connectors for Salesforce, so more CRM related usage. For Information Builder, which is less known, and as a tool which is called WebFocus. So an analytics tool, business intelligence tool, which is called WebFocus. And of course, there are more to come, and it's really based on the market as well. For example, right now there is a real hype across Microsoft Power BI, and so we are considering also creating ourselves a connector for Microsoft Power BI. And if you are interested, because I don't know, you are looking at Power BI as well, we are going to open a beta soon in order to test Galigeo within SAP Power BI. So reach out to me if you are interested by that. And the last one, which is a brand new one, is an API that lets you embed Galigeo location intelligence solution wherever you want. It's geared for the organization and the customers that have custom software and applications with their own logics, or for integrators who works on projects that require some special capabilities and that do not want to go into a long development from scratch that they know they won't be able to maintain in the future. And so they can leverage the Galigeo API, which is a low-code API that lets you embed all the features that you have seen earlier during the presentation, but wherever you want. And so as it is written, you focus really on coding the integration, so it's quite easy. It's not rewriting a whole applications. And what we do is bringing all the features for you out of the box. And so the average time to integration we have seen with partners is 2 days, so it's really quick. And there, what you see on the screenshot is exactly the Galigeo map embedded within a Microsoft SharePoint site. And to do that, honestly, it took 10 minutes, or let's say 1 hour. If this is the first time you use the API, in 1 hour, you can embed the whole Galigeo applications directly within a Microsoft SharePoint site and perform any kind of analysis you want directly within SharePoint, which is really, really interesting. And you can do that into any tool. So we have a set of complete location intelligence solution. As I was mentioning, we have a core technologies that is declined in different format, I would say. You could leverage it using our standalone solutions, which is a web-based product, or you can use it directly embedded within the tools you already have, like SAP BI, IBM Cognos, Salesforce, or even use our API to embed it wherever you want. So the core concept right there are common core technology. So it's one product that is embeddable anywhere. And in all the different way of leveraging the product, this is always the same features that you have because we have a common core technology. And so when we develop a new feature, it's not a new feature just for the product embedded within SAP Web Intelligence. It's automatically available into also Cognos, into the standalone version, into the API, etc. It works on mobile as well. So if you use that from your iPad or from your phone, it works as well. Or if you plan to develop application for the person on the field, the solution is geared for that. And it's available either on-premise or in the cloud regarding your organization policies. And I've not talked much about Galigeo because for me it's not the most important, but of course we have been in the location intelligence software field for more than 15 years, and we are a leader, a world leader into location intelligence. But what is the most important is that we are trusted by hundreds of companies that are leader in their industries, and that all over the globe. And so you see some name right there, and you see that this is not industry specific. All the industry have their different use cases, even if you can mutualize some of them. But the most important is that our tool is geared for every business. And so no matter who you are and what you want to do, all the options available will let you answer to your use case using our product. And so after this presentation, it's time to go further, if I can say that. So we can get in touch, of course. There is my mail again. You might already have it because I've sent you mail to invite you to this webinar. And thank you again for coming in. You can also start for free. You can download free trials of any of our solutions going into our websites. You can just go there and navigate to what is geared for you. Like if you are interested by embedded the product into web intelligence, by the API, by the standalone solutions, etc.